All right. Hi, Brayden, Deshaun, and Martin. So today you guys are learning about how sports impact the environment. We're going to be reading an article today. So we're going to do what we've been doing the last few times I've had you guys read something, which is I'm going to read it to you. And then you're going to find a picture, well, in this case, two pictures, on the internet that deal with the topic that I'm going to give you, and you're going to turn them in, and that is how you will get your credit today. So make sure that you follow along through the whole video and that you listen very carefully to the directions at the end or the pictures. In this assignment, I did upload a copy of the article if you want to read it on your own, but I will be showing it on the screen as I read it to you, so don't feel like you have to stress too terribly much. So we'll have that. Before we read, though, I did want to mention a couple of things. First, you guys have been doing a pretty good job overall. Most of you. One of you got a lot of stuff turned in yesterday, which I'm very happy about. So, keep turning stuff in. You want to make sure you at least pass the class, so that way you get, the credits that you need. There are a couple of things that could still be turned in, but again, just check your Skyward, check your Google, and you'll know if you are the person that I'm talking to. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and read this article. I'm going to share my screen with you, and we'll go ahead and get going. All right, so sports and recreation, sports and the environment. What is the impact of sports and recreation on the human and physical environment? All right, so we have columns, so we're gonna start here. Okay. When we think about sporting events, our thoughts rarely turn to images of environmental concern. But sports are a popular pastime across the globe, and the increased popularity of spectator sports, particularly on a large scale, can only be sustained using great amounts of resources. This affects both the human and physical environment in significant ways. All right, so spectator sports, right here, are anything that people watch. So like football, basketball, baseball, golf even, these are things that people watch. All right, how do spectator sports affect the environment? All sports can impact the human and physical environment. The construction of playing areas such as sports stadiums illustrates this issue. A sports stadium's construction requires land and natural resources. To power and maintain the stadium, energy is used. A sports stadium can hold thousands of spectators, all of whom produce waste, things like trash. And even more energy is consumed in transporting these fans to the stadium. All factors considered, a single stadium sporting event can generate a considerable impact on the environment. The Lucas Oil Stadium, for example, built in Indianapolis, Indiana, as a home for the Indianapolis Colts football team, holds 63,000 spectators. While the stadium will bring much revenue to the city and increase surrounding property values, concerns about its environmental impact delayed its construction. The anticipated runoff from the new parking lot is expected to damage local waterways. Pavement is non-porous and contributes to increased watershed, which can flood and damage surrounding rivers and streams. Okay, so what they're talking about here is when it rains, where does the water go? Because the concrete and pavement doesn't soak up the water ends up running into, the ditches, which runs into the waterways. So instead of being absorbed by the ground, which rain usually is, it's going to add more water to the sewer system, to the White River, that kind of thing. Okay. Sports construction can also raise land use concerns. Sometimes the most convenient or cost-effective location for a sports venue is somewhere that can either damage the environment or force residents or businesses to move. Problems with land use can arise in places where land is scarce, such as urban areas and even islands. In order to make room for the parking lot, developers of the Lucas Oil Stadium in downtown Indianapolis had to contend with the existing N.K. Hearst bean factory, which stood on the land. The initial attempt to take over the factory's land using eminent domain laws raised a public outcry, causing the city to reconsider. Now the factory remains standing on part of the stadium's parking lot. Another human impact is cost. Local lawmakers raised taxes to finance the construction of Lucas Oil Stadium, and it will cost more than $30 million annually to maintain it. So $30 million a year to keep it running. On a larger scale, consider the Olympics. Every 4 years, cities across the globe vie or compete for the opportunity to host the Olympic Games. Hosting the Olympics benefits a city in many ways, particularly economically. Special buildings and venues are constructed to accommodate Olympic events, and hundreds of thousands of people descend upon the city, generating revenue in all sectors of the economy. But the influx or increase of people for the Olympic Games can also have a negative effect. Resources are strained to meet the burgeoning temporary population. That means growing temporary population. After the Olympic Games are over, the city is left to deal with depleted resources and increased waste, and businesses that thrived during the event can no longer support themselves. In recent years, however, the Olympic Committee has worked with the United Nations Environment Program, UNEP, to monitor the environmental impact associated with Olympic events. So they're trying to make it so that these events don't have as bad of a problem or an impact. All right, so now we're going to look at golf. So this right here shows the number of golf courses in Japan, how many of them were developed. And you can see that in 1986, there were 40. In 1987, there were 50-ish projects. 1988, a little bit more. And then as we enter the 90s, you can see more and more golf courses are being built every year. All right, every sport can have a negative environmental impact, no matter how small or how seemingly unobtrusive. Even golf, a sport known for its pristine green environment, can leave its footprint. Each year, more money is spent on golf than on any other sport. For countries where this leisure sport is popular, golf course construction, equipment, and green fees add up to billions of dollars in profits. Green fees are the price you pay to be able to play the game. Today, there are more than 25,000 golf courses worldwide. Over 1,700 of these golf courses are located in Japan. The popularity of golf in Japan has seen unprecedented growth in recent decades, and in 2003, golf contributed $14 billion to Japan's economy. That is a lot of money. All right, so the human impact. Japan is one of the world's most densely populated countries. That means a lot of people live in a relatively small area. An island nation with little room to expand, Japan's land is both an important commodity and a scarce resource. Golf has become an integral part of corporate culture. Many important decisions for multinational corporations are made on the golf course, but because of the importance of the game, it has been difficult to slow the rapid expansion of the courses. With a lack of alternative lands to use, sometimes farmers and residents are pressured or forced from their land to make way for golf course construction. Sometimes previously protected nature preserves are also turned over to course development. Golf course construction has also led to political corruption. Memberships to golf courses are expensive and are often used as bribes to convince lawmakers to cede land to golf course developers, meaning give land to the developers. Golf courses can also have a negative health impact on humans. Due to the large amounts of chemicals, fertilizers, and pesticides used in golf course maintenance, employees of golf courses have been known to experience health problems associated with these chemicals. Long-term exposure to these chemicals has led to an increased incidence of cancer in golf course employees. So that's how it can affect humans. So how does it affect the environment? In 1988, the resort law was passed in Japan, making way for a chain of resort hotels across Japan. In addition to building resorts, the law made it easier through tax breaks for developers to build other leisure spaces, including golf courses, marinas, and ski resorts. A marina is where you keep your boat for like pleasure boating. So like having a little boat to go out into the ocean or to go fishing, that kind of thing. Additionally, the law made it possible to turn over agricultural land and forest preservation areas for these purposes. Golf course construction may drastically alter the physical environment. In Japan, hills are bulldozed and valleys are filled to create level ground for the course. Forests are clear-cut to create additional space, meaning they're cut down. This destruction of the natural environment can decrease the biodiversity of an area, and some natural preservation areas can be lost. One of the main problems with golf course construction is runoff. When a forested area is cleared to make way for a golf course, the land loses its ability to retain water. A golf course retains only about a quarter of the water that forested land retains. The resulting runoff can cause erosion and flooding and can pollute local waters, making it unsuitable for both agriculture and residential use. With golf courses in particular, the runoff water can carry with it the chemicals, fertilizers, and pesticides used to maintain golf courses. Golf courses also use large amounts of resources for maintenance. It is estimated that the maintenance of a single golf course uses enough water every day to meet the daily needs of 15,000 people. While sports are, for the most part, healthy activities, sometimes the resources used to accommodate mass consumption of sports and the waste and pollution accumulated because of them can cause the environment can harm the environment as well as humans. Today, sports organizations such as the International Olympic Committee, IOC, and the National Football League, NFL, are seeking solutions to make sporting events more ecologically friendly and to reduce their negative impact on the physical and human environment. Okay. All right, so you guys listened to the whole article. Now you need to find 2 pictures. One picture needs to be of an NFL stadium. Okay, so whichever NFL team is your favorite, it doesn't have to be the Colts, which is who we read about. You need to find one picture of an NFL stadium and submit that. The second picture is about golf. So I want you to find a picture of a golf course in Japan, because we read about Japan, and submit that. So 2 pictures. One, you need the stadium from an NFL team, and 2, a golf course in Japan. Okay, so submit both of those pictures and you're good to go. That's it. All right, so make sure you're turning in any missing work. Make sure you've watched this whole video and turn in those 2 pictures that you should be able to find on the internet very easily. All right, so I will see you guys tomorrow.